I am traveling with Margaritaville at Sea Cruise Lines, and today we are in Key West, Florida with a heat index of 102 degrees, and I'm gonna see how well I can get my makeup to hold up using About Face complexion products. I'm gonna take you with me to do a full wear test while we are in Key West, but if you would like to skip ahead, application does begin at 4 minutes and 2 seconds. Here we are at about an hour and a half. We are waiting for our go-karts because that's what we're going to use to travel around Key West because there is no way we were going to walk in this heat. Here at 3 hours, we are just leaving the southernmost point. We were outside in the sun taking pictures, and the makeup is still holding strong. At the 4-hour check-in, we are on our way to the Hemingway house, which is what I was most excited to see. I do feel myself getting a little bit sweatier at this point, so I am starting to look out for that breaking up of the foundation, but things are still looking really good. Here at the 5-hour mark, I'm starting to notice some things breaking down. We can see my eyeshadow is starting to crease just a little bit from the oils coming through on my eyelids. My lipstick is still holding up strong, but it is feeling a little bit drier. That foundation and concealer combo, though, is not moving. Things are looking amazing. Here we are at the 7-hour mark. We just made it back to port, so we are done with our venture out in Key West. I'm ready to get out of the heat and into some AC, but we are going to grab some lunch, lounge around the pool, and this wear test is not over yet. Alright guys, this is our final check-in and we are at the 9-hour mark, almost 10, and I say it held up pretty well. I can definitely see some things breaking up on my forehead, maybe a little bit around my under eye area. The eyelids definitely have creased, but I knew that was going to happen. I have very, very oily eyelids, and when I sweat it gets even worse, but I'm actually surprised that it held up as well as it did for as long as it did. It is about 4:30 now, and I put this makeup on at like 6:30, so yeah, it's right about 10 hours, and I think it held up really well. So if you made it this far and you want to see my process, how I got this to stay on as long as it did in this heat and in this humidity, keep watching. All right, to start off, I've already prepped my skin. I used the Glow Recipe. This is the Cloudberry Bright Essence Toner. I do this every time I wash my face. I put this toner on, and then sunscreen. Use whatever sunscreen works for your skin. I know that there's all different types and some people break out from certain ones, so just use a sunscreen that works for you. So this was a new product to me that I bought right before I went on vacation. This is the Thayers Hydrating Milky Toner, and we're going to apply all of this onto the skin. And yes, I did apply quite a bit, because whenever I'm traveling, my skin starts acting wonky. So I really wanted something nice and hydrating that'll keep my skin from absolutely hating me. So just for references, we are going through each of these products. I do have dehydrated, normal skin. I'm not particularly oily or particularly dry, but my skin does get very dehydrated very easily. So I really take the time to make sure that I am super moisturized before I do my makeup, or I do see those dry patches, or my skin will start overproducing oils to compensate for the fact that it's dehydrated. But on a typical good day, my skin is fairly normal. Now that the Hydrating Milky Toner is kind of one with the skin, I'm gonna go in with my primer. I use the Essence Hello Good Stuff Glow Serum Primer. I thought that it wasn't gonna come out for a second. I've been trying to use this up forever. I'm gonna take about that much. And again, we're applying it all over the skin. This primer in particular is, again, quite hydrating, but it is also a little bit grippy. But because it is also a serum-like product, I find that it doesn't pill up or ball up strangely on the skin. And we can see the skin has a little bit of tack to it, so now we're good to go in with some foundation. The stars of the show today are the About Face products. This is the Performer foundation, and I have mine in the shade LM2 Olive. So it does come with a doe foot applicator, which I find makes it really easy to apply this. If I have a pump, I'll put it on the back of my hand, but with the doe foot applicator, I'm just gonna apply it directly onto my skin. If that freaks you out, absolutely put it on the back of your hand and then we can blend out from there. I don't put a whole bunch of weight into what I apply onto my skin and then back into the product. You guys can scream at me, I'm sorry, but I don't care that much. So here's how I'm going to apply this. So right on the cheeks is where I want the most product, because as you can see, I do have rosacea, so my cheeks are quite red all the time. And then from there, I'll pull it onto the nose, onto the forehead, and onto the chin. So what I found really worked for me was not applying too much right off the bat. As you can see, I kind of just put a thin layer on the skin, and then we're going to blend this out, and then if we want more, we can always add more. But when I was in the Bahamas heat and we were also in Key West, Florida, so it was just hot all the time. So I really wanted to start with less product just so it wouldn't feel heavy on the skin. The wear test that you guys saw, pretty sure I already mentioned it, but that was when we were in Key West, Florida. The heat index was at 102. It was quite warm, but it was so beautiful. And there was always kind of a nice breeze going, especially when you were near the water. You always felt like that nice sea breeze coming in, but it was very hot. So this is the foundation fully blended out. One, the shade match is gorgeous. This is the closest shade match that I've ever had in a foundation. So I love that for me. Two, it just really becomes one with the skin. I do take my time blending it out with a damp sponge. Some people like to use brushes. Absolutely, if that is your journey. That was not my journey. Especially, again, I'm trying to make it last a very long time. So I do want like a thin layer. I don't necessarily want to pile on a bunch of products, not in that sort of heat and humidity. So then I go in with my concealer. This one is LM1 Warm Olive. And I'm gonna take this right under the eyes. You can see I have pretty deep hollows under my eyes. So I want it right there in those hollows. And then just a couple of places where I might want some highlighting. And then we're just taking that same sponge again and blending everything out. I'm gonna let it sit under my eyes and save those for last, just so it dries down a touch and we get a little bit more coverage out of it. My dark circles are no joke. So I'm just gonna take the pointier side of my sponge. I'm tapping it in right in that spot and then slowly pulling it up into those dark circles and out. And again, with all of these, you want to take your time to make sure that everything is nice and blended. And the other side. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and add our powder. This one is from McGrath. This is the blurring under eye powder, and I have mine in light. I do really enjoy this under eye powder, and this is the one that I packed with me. However, I don't think that you necessarily have to have this one. I think that the Essence Banana Brightening Powder is also really nice. The NYX HD Finishing Powder is also really nice. This one is baked, so it's stiffer in the pan. And so I find that it's really nice for putting on light layers of powder. So I'm gonna take this right under the eyes. And we're just applying that until my under eyes are no longer damp or sticky to the touch. So that is with the powder and without. So the other places that I added my powder on the forehead and around my jawline. And I like to apply it on my jawline for two reasons. One, I don't like the feeling of moist foundation. This foundation does a really good job of kind of setting itself, but it does still have a little bit of tackiness to it. And I just know me, when I'm just absent-mindedly going about my day, I do kind of rest my hands here. So I like to just put some powder there. And this is the final result. Now we're going to do the last step, and this is the product that I think really made the difference in how I enjoyed the finished look of this, because I really do like the finished look as is. I think it looks beautiful, but at my core, I want my base makeup to look like my skin. So this setting spray in particular from ColourPop, this is the Pretty Fresh Lock It In setting spray. It has a very, very fine mist, which I love. So we're gonna go ahead and apply this to the entire face. And use our handy dandy fan to speed this process up. And this is the totally completed base look. Toner, primer, foundation, concealer, powder, and setting spray. And this look lasted me 10 hours. 10 hours in the Florida heat. It was incredible. I was so shocked by how well it held up on my skin in that heat and humidity. I really do enjoy these products. They are my new favorites. I have been using them nonstop since I purchased them, and I have a fairly large collection, so that is really saying a lot, just how much I keep wanting to go back to these products over and over again because of how beautiful my skin looks. If you are interested, I will link the products down below. They are using my magic links, so if you do shop through those codes, I will get a small commission from them, which I really do appreciate if you would like to do that. If not, you can find all of these products on the About Face website, and I will link the other things, which I pretty much just got from Ulta, so you can find those there as well. But that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for sticking around. I really hope that you enjoyed seeing this. Please follow my Instagram if you would like to see all of the different looks that I did while I was on vacation. I will also link my Instagram down below. It is makeup_Erica, so you are welcome to check that out. I would really appreciate it. You can also find me on TikTok if you want to see more short form content, and I will see you guys in the next one.